Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet
Yes, I
Dasuki?
do. Yes, we spent a lot of time actually. I requested to meet him personally, and they kept denying me. And they said, there's no reason for you to meet. At first, they said he wasn't there, that he's in a different facility. But some of the guys on that ground kept telling me he's here. So I kept asking. And one day, they called me downstairs. We used to watch TV, soccer in one of their offices after we pick up food, if they let us. And I walked into Dasuki and I was like, wow, it's good to see you. And I said, oh, Mr. President, I thought you're dying here. He said, no, well, I'm trying to survive, but I've been told I'm going to die here. And we became friends after that. And he would request for me if he's watching soccer, because he's an Arsenal fan. Arsenal, this English
And which team? And which team do you
football
support?
team.
Which
So
team do you support?
I I never knew about soccer that much until I got there, so I didn't support any team.
So just like,
But at the point after after I watched a few times, I started liking Jose Mourinho's team. That was Tottenham, because I just like Jose Mourinho's attitude. But I didn't know who I knew about him, but I didn't know his team. It was when we were watching. So sometimes they'll let us watch 2 matches back to back. So we'll talk about it. But he's like a serious Arsenal fan, and I used to make fun of him. I said, that's why you like suffering, because how can you be Arsenal fan? Because they keep losing. Every time we went there, Arsenal could be winning by 4 goals and they'll still lose. That's interesting.
Okay, so what's your impression about him? Now you've spent time with him in prison. Before you met him, obviously you've written a lot during the time of the arms scandal. You've written a lot about him. Suddenly you have the opportunity now to spend time with him. What is your impression about him?
See, the first thing he said to me when he met me as I walked into the room, because it was already seated, he said, "Oh my God, you put us in all these problems with Sahara reporters. Why did you do this?" And I said, "What did you do?" I said, "Well, yes, they lied against us." And then in the room, about 2 of them said, "Do you know I went to New York to meet Sowore to have a discussion when he was such a big problem for us? And when I called him, he refused to come," which is true. He said he came from Virginia to New York, stayed in one big hotel near my office, called me early in the morning and said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in New York." He said, "Can we see?" I said, "Who's this?" He said, "That's Suki." So why do you need to see me? He said, "Well, we need to talk." I said, there's no conversation we can have that we can't have over the phone. So I never went to see him. When he told the DSS guys, they were shocked. They said, "Wow, how could you have refused to meet Dasuki? He was the most powerful man, or second powerful man after Jonathan, and there's money." And I said, "That's exactly why I didn't meet him, because if I did, he would also be telling you today that I collected money from him. I don't want that kind of relationship where I can't defend myself." So, but he tried to explain that he was being victimized. And I asked him why we're there. It's like, did you beat up Buhari when he was arrested after he was overthrown by Babangida? He said no. He said, in fact, he was the one who went to meet Buhari in Jos on behalf of the coup plotters in 1983, that you'll be president or you'll be head of state. So get ready. Say Buhari was in a short, it was in boxer shorts or Mika, call it here in Nigeria. And that when Buhari got to power, they discovered Buhari has nothing upstairs. And then when they decided to remove him, yes, he couldn't say whether he was part of people that went to arrest him, but he said there was no physical torture. But he knows that Buhari doesn't forgive. And that might have come out of that period. He also told me something about Buhari, which is interesting, and his cousin, um, this Mama Daura. He said when Buhari was detained, he was detained in Benin City in a barrack. That for the period that Buhari was detained in Benin City in a barrack and in a house, he said Buhari never went to the window to open the curtain. And then his cousin, Mama Daura, would come from Lagos and from Katsina and the Lagos. Then they'll arrange for a flight for him to go to Benin. And then he started asking them to be flying him back to Katsina. I said, no, we don't have the plane to do that. And he got upset. And for Dasuki, this was all part of why they hated him so much. And he said it had nothing to do with corruption. That's what he told me in detention.
So basically, do you believe him that it has nothing to do with corruption, that it was just because of a personal vendetta or personal issues? Do you believe that?
Sorry, but I wrote a lot of stories about corruption under the regime. I don't have any reason to believe that those stories are not correct. But do I have a reason to believe that if you are corrupt or you're supportive for Buhari, he would not look at your corruption? Yes. But do I believe that Dasuki did not partake in the $2.2 billion haste that happened? Of course I don't. And I told him that. I told him straight to his face. I said, how could you think I'll believe that you didn't steal money?
So
when you evidence that was
when you
used
asked him about when you asked him about the 2.2 billion and how they shared it, or quote unquote, quoting Buhari now, how they shared it as if they are on a dinner table. So did he have any defense for that?
Well, he said it's not true. But I'm used to Nigerian officials saying that any act of corruption is not true. He's more convinced that it was about the vindictiveness more than it is corruption. So he said it's not true. He said, no, I never stole a dime. But I never met a Nigerian official that said this stole money before. So even when they're caught red-handed.
So
but as I said, do I believe that it's, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, finish your thought, sorry. Go ahead. You're saying?
No, I'm saying, do I believe that Buhari will not punish somebody who is supportive of him if he's a thief? I do. Buhari is what Northerners call Munafiki Banza, somebody who is neither here nor there. But as I've said, do I believe that there was no money stolen? Of course I don't, because I saw physical evidence of it. I presented it to the public through Sahara reporters. I wrote some of the stories myself with, undeniable evidence.
So if that is the case, that is more of vendetta. I mean, again, not denying that there was no corruption that is given. That is, obviously you said those evidence, the stories that you wrote then still stand. Now, if it's more about vendetta, that means the president probably, or those around him, must have gotten a pound of their flesh. Does that appear to you that he is very unlikely to come back to prison or to be charged?
You mean Dasuki?
Yes.
I think if he opens up, I don't think anybody can wait. He told me a number of things in prison. He said, I don't want to say what I want to say, but if I'm forced to open up, and I think that's why they put him in detention without trial for such a long time, because he knew too much. And he was in the security sector, he was the national security advisor to the president. So, but I don't know what will happen. I don't think they're interested in trying him. If they were interested, they wouldn't have kept him in detention for so long without trial or, extrajudicially as they did, because he was granted bail, asked to pay 100 million. He deposited the money, but they didn't release him, even though courts of the land kept asking them to release them. In fact, it is believed that it was because of my own case that he got leave me.
I hope you're still there. The network, I think they've taken the lights again.
It's back. It's back now.
Okay. So you were saying you hope it, you were, you think it's because of your own case that he was eventually released.
I believe so. And I told him so. And he never denied it. I make fun of him. I got you out of detention and you owe me your life. So, he will have to about that. Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, let me leave Dasuki for now. Now, let me come back to something that happened before the 2019 presidential election.